Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series. We are on the 14th of May, 1983, and 83, kind of a transitional year, I would say. Lots of stuff heat up in 84, 85, 86, but 83, kind of a transitional year for the area. But there is some good stuff to be found here. Good talents, but there's also a lot of enhancement stuff. There's a lot of guys who just have a little bit of struggle, a little bit of difficulty, and the like, and it's rough, and that's perfectly okay. But anyway, May 14th, kind of a rough run. Hacksaw Duggan attacking Akbar, which we saw several weeks ago, where he rips his clothes off and goes completely nuts on him, is the highlight of the beginning. And then we go to Black Ninja and Duggan from a little bit ago. Although this match is, I think, more complete than the other one we've seen between the two. Duggan and DiBiase headed on a major collision course here in the era, and without a doubt, has to be kind of a major thing, I would imagine. And, Duggan and DiBiase being teammates and I guess stablemates would even be a better terminology for the last several months, if not over a year, has been a story that's carried Mid-South in a lot of ways. We don't necessarily see that today in terms of the kind of that run through and the wonder that is modern wrestling. Getting guys to go 3 or 4 months now is a miracle, but things that go a year. One of my favorite feuds of all time, Greg Valentine and Tito Santana, went like a year and a half. Anyway, and I'm sure there are feuds that have gone longer than that over multiple promotions. But anyhow, Duggan and the Black Ninja, otherwise known as Kendo Nagasaki, and of course Duggan having issues with anyone who is of a foreign derivation. Duggan continues the brawl, and the fans are certainly behind Duggan. Doing the American hero gimmick, but DiBiase jumps him out, and we see Nagasaki coming in as DiBiase kind of taking him out, and obviously Kendo Nagasaki is in fact one of the people in the neighborhood of Skandor Akbar, and that kind of continues. We see a call out next, I think from Houston, because the ring color is different. Chavo Guerrero calling out Ted DiBiase, so kind of trying to get that going a little bit, and DiBiase not happy with unfinished business, getting after the ring announcer, doesn't like being challenged, doesn't like being told what to do or how to do it or any of that. And Mr. Olympia is there. Of course, Olympia, a tag team partner. And Chavo comes in, goes right after Olympia and DiBiase, and they double team on Chavo Guerrero quite viciously for the next couple of minutes. Chavo not willing to be undone. DiBiase loads up the glove and nails Chavo with it, and the beatdown takes a couple of minutes. Oddly, Chavo not having many friends to come to his rescue or aid, which is kind of ridiculous to me, and I've always kind of felt like, why doesn't he have somebody come out? But anyhow, Olympia comes in, hits the DiBiase and Olympia hit the spike pile driver on Chavo, and Chavo is bitten off more than he can chew. He has been completely laid out, and revenge will be his somewhere down the road, I'm sure. We then go back to a enhancement talent match, DiBiase and his partner here, Mr. Olympia, against Cruz and Caldwell. DiBiase and Olympia are your tag team champions, regaining them not too terribly long ago, a couple of months ago, from the most recent champions. And again, we've covered all that, so you can certainly go back and check that out. Olympia up and over and wearing the red and black mask gets tipped off after a hip toss by Cruz, and the tag off DiBiase bumping around for just about anybody and hits the short knee. Obviously, Duggan still wants his hands on DiBiase, and that will come. But Duggan has other tasks for this particular day. Tag back off to Mr. Olympia, who misses a back elbow, something fierce, which is just goofy sometimes, how guys miscommunicate. Caldwell, relatively new enhancement talent, not very well known, but doesn't really matter. To top of the head, Olympia goes and nails his opponent, and they tag off. Art Cruz back in, and Cruz comes in, a little bit of brawling. Cruz has been around enough that even though he's an enhancement talent, he's given enough of a role here where people kind of take him a little bit seriously anyway. And big clothesline by DiBiase, and DiBiase hits the diving fist drop that I love from him. One of his moves that just always strikes me as a DiBiase special. Tag off to Caldwell, comes back in. Caldwell gets nailed with a couple of forearms, and DiBiase taking complete control, tags off back to Olympia. Olympia hits the drop kick, and again we kind of go roundabout with it. Hacksaw Duggan and the Black Ninja. Up next in a lumberjack match. Of course, a lumberjack match, rare gimmick match. I think this is only maybe the 4th, 5th, 6th gimmick match we've seen in Mid-South in a year and a half. But, I mean, you don't see them every week. You don't see them every month. They're special. Lumberjack match, of course, the baby faces and heels come out and toss their respectives back in the ring when things are unfinished. Duggan catches the foot of Nagasaki, spins him around and hits him right between the eyes. Duggan really doesn't care about anything other than getting as much of an attack as he can. Nagasaki has to bail out in a reasonable hurry. Duggan locks in the front face lock and continues his war with Nagasaki. And again, we kind of see Nagasaki go down, and Duggan gets swarmed again at ringside by all of the lumberjacks, and Nagasaki almost using the lumberjacks to his advantage and sending Duggan out a few more times. Duggan hits a big body slam and then the knee drop, and having to kind of position his opponent, because you can also use the lumberjacks to pull you out of the ring when you're in trouble. Duggan with a heel across the ring, and then hits a 3-point tackle and a cover. 1, 2, 3. Referee gets Duggan gets the win. Referee makes the call. And then we move to Mr. Olympia discuss Bundy being discussed by Mr. Wrestling 2, and he also discusses Mr. Olympia. So basically, in Wrestling 2 basically indirectly says he's headed back to the drawing board. These are the toughest competitors he's ever faced, but he's not giving up. He's not quitting. Fans stay solidly behind him. Super Destroyer in a powder blue mask against Ron Ellis here. Destroyer has not found a lot of competition as of yet. Takes him down with a side headlock takeover and headbutt. You've got to worry about the mask, of course, loaded mask, a thing. And then we see some shots by Super Destroyer, sends him into the buckle and the like, and ultimately kind of choking him out. Of course, Super Destroyer willing to cheat whenever he can. We have seen him both in roles as babyface and heel here, so he hasn't really found a full-on role yet in the area. He seems to be a guy who does better in Southern promotions, seems to stay longer there. I believe one of these is Bill Irwin. I'm not quite sure the Super Destroyer gimmick is completely him, but I know he did that at least a couple of times. Anyway, he hooks in a front face lock, and the enhancement talent tries to make his way back a little bit. Doesn't get done what he wants to get done. A vertical suplex attempted, but instead turns it into the superplex and the win for the Super Destroyer. Butcher Vachon against Tony Torres. Vachon must be passing through, because I don't imagine he stays very long in the Mid-South area. Vachon seemed to like more the Northern Territories, and also seemed to like, kind of staying closer to home. Anyway, side headlock takeover, and he goes to town on Torres pretty effectively. Punch kick, scratching at the face, growling at the face, and going all the way to town. Butcher Vachon, a shorter guy, but makes up for it in intensity. Chokes out his opponent and does whatever he possibly can to get an advantage as quickly as he can. Short shot by Butcher Vachon. Vachon also manages to hit a couple of choke maneuvers around the throat and stays right on that area of the body. Sends his opponent into the buckle, gets a stomp and kick, and then uses the inverted backbreaker slash choke over the shoulder to get a victory. Does Butcher Vachon, Tony Zane, and Rip Rogers against Horner and Johnny Rich. And of course, Johnny Rich, relatively an enhancement talent all over the area. And when I say all over the area, I'm talking about the South. Relative newcomer Tim Horner, also a newcomer. Rip Rogers, kind of holding the match together, wearing kind of a purplish pink, and we see Horner with the hip toss and goes right for the arm drag, stays on the arm. Horner has been one of the better enhancement talents, but also a guy who you could put in matches with a longer nature. Big body slam by Horner's partner here in Zane, and Zane hits an elbow drop and tries to get an advantage, tag off to his tag team partner, and again we kind of see the dominance. Unfortunately, Anderson, aka Marty Lundy, I'm pretty sure by this point is going to Pensacola. I'm missing him over the past couple of weeks, so it'll be cool to see him when we go to a territory where he's most prominent, such as Crockett Promotions. But we're not there yet. Anyway, big back body drop by Horner, and hooks the leg, doesn't get what he wants on that. The battle between Zane and Rich is pretty basic, really simple. They're only giving a couple more minutes in the match before the program closes, so actually kind of one of those matches where you expect it to cut off without a finish. Watt's famous for doing that, and I think more wrestling promotions should do that. Get you to tune in next week. I don't understand why Watts never showed the finish to most of those matches, especially when they're inconsequential. Johnny Rich with a knee drop and a jump along the way, and then we kind of see the cutoff. Tim Horner comes back in with a knee drop of his own and tries to keep his opponent down. Rip Rogers comes back in, cuts his opponent off, but again, we see a non-finish here on Mid-South on this particular occasion. We'll be back with more action right after